I'm doing the thing. I pressed the button.
Okay.
Buttons
It
were
says
pressed.
it's
Things were done.
Preparing.
Preparing
Yeah.
for what?
I don't know. It just does this little progress bar and then it redirects to the YouTube stream. So I don't know what. I don't even know what that means. All right. We are unlisted.
We are unlisted.
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 Oh, another puppet there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sesame
That doesn't
Workshop.
sound like Big Bird at all.
What are you talking about? It does now.
Fair enough.
Carol
That's all we
Spinney
got.
is sadly gone, so Big Bird has a new voice. And
this
it's
is
me.
it.
This is it. Get used to it.
Yikes.
Oh my.
All right. Here we go. We've got hacker alias BNG. BNG.
BNG.
Yes. Sent this in. He says, "Hey, CJ." Just me? What? The other guys are here too.
Fine.
Of course it is.
He says, "I recently made a list of some of the games that have stuck with me the longest, and my girlfriend suggested I make it into a Jeopardy game for you guys since you appear to be lacking in listener-created quizzes."
Ouch.
Wow.
Man.
I mean,
True,
it's
though.
true, but when you say it out
True.
loud, it kind of hurts.
Yeah. Almost all of the clues are about how they fit into my life, but contain more than enough information to properly identify the games. In fact, this may be the easiest Jeopardy game you guys have ever gotten, as I think every game has been mentioned on the show a handful of times. Be warned, one series makes multiple appearances.
Oh.
Keep up the good work and happy holidays to all of you.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
Yes. And he
Let's do it
included
to
his
it.
phone number on here. So if this is a bad quiz, we can all crank call him. All right. I'm going to read the categories here in this Jeopardy
Yes.
for
Okay.
you people who are just listening to the audio and don't have the video up.
Are we going to read our own questions again?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a terrible idea.
Okay, fine. That's a terrible idea.
that did not work last time we tried that.
It was the haikus. That worked really well.
Yeah, except
I thought it worked fine.
Greg and
'cause
I
got to
kept forgetting
take a
to
rest.
to read them.
All right. The categories are formative games,
Uh-huh.
neighborhood legends, stellar suggestions, video game VIPs, and
It's Vips.
potpourri.
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 And I'm going first. So I'm going to go formative games for 100. After discovering this golden NES cart at a friend's birthday party, I saved money for months so I could buy my own copy, only to get it home and discover how much of a challenge it really was. I went to bed in tears of frustration, only to wake up the next morning with new resolve. I got graph paper and spent months mapping out the entire game, including which bushes could be burned, and continued to explore its massive world for years after beating it.
Crusader of Senti.
I believe that is the original Legend of Zelda.
No, it's the golden cartridge of Punch-Out. The
Mhm.
very rare golden
Legend
Punch-Out.
of Zelda is correct.
That is a rare one.
There was a the Japanese cartridge of Punch Out is gold.
Yeah, I wasn't
Phil was
just
referencing.
wasn't
Yeah,
just
I
making
know,
that
but
up.
I'm just saying it for the audience.
I
since
ain't
they may
just
not know.
whistling Dixie.
They may not know. Okay.
Gonna go for stellar suggestions for 100.
Stellar suggestions for 100. Despite having a lot of gamer friends, I somehow managed to avoid the twist in this game until I played it in 2012 at the recommendation of a friend who asked if I would kindly let him know the minute I completed it.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Wrong. It's BioShock.
BioShock is correct.
Damn.
Would you kindly?
Would you kindly?
That was a hint. The would you kindly was a hint.
I wasn't paying attention.
They clearly.
Actually, me neither. I wasn't paying attention.
No.
I would have gotten that wrong too.
Man, I'm the only one. The only one. The clue was right there. I'll take video
It was.
game. Video game Vips.
For 100.
100. I hope one of these is actually about the video game VIP, starring Pamela Anderson. For
I hope so
this
too.
one.
That'd be great.
Yes.
I met this auteur at PSX in 2016 when he engaged me in conversation while playing the demo of one of his newly remastered games. It wasn't until I finished the demo that I realized I was having a conversation with the writer behind some of my favorite point-and-click adventure games.
I'm going to say, who is Tim Schafer?
Who was Tim
Math checks
Schafer.
out.
Is
Yeah.
correct.
There you go.
Super nice guy, by the way.
I've-
Just
I've-
a really great guy.
I've only met Tim once, but he was very
Yeah.
nice. You know what? Strangely enough, too, when I met Tim,
Mhm.
it was in Japan, and it was just like I believe I was in a video game store in Akihabara, and I just bumped into him there. And
Really?
That's
Really?
Yeah.
Was
weird.
that where we saw Tim?
yeah, like
Okay.
because I was over there for
Yeah.
Tokyo Game Show, and on one of the days off, I was just we'll go to hang out in Akihabara and browse game shops, and he just happened to be
Yeah.
in there as well, and I think we ended up talking about Oendan. So
Yeah.
The only
Didn't
time I
he
hung out
hang
with
out
Tim
at your
Schafer was
apartment a lot?
the apartment
Like-
with Shane Bettenhausen and Greg
Mm.
Ford and I watching The Ring
Yeah.
and telling us about how he was in the final scene of Die Hard 2.
is he really?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Those are all LucasArts Games employees standing around the planes,
Oh yeah.
the little bunches.
I remember going to the LucasArts building, or I guess like the Lucasfilm / LucasArts building in the Presidio in San
Mhm.
Francisco. And they have obviously they have a lot of like Lucasfilm stuff decorating the office. And one of the things in one of the hallways is they have a just massive, like floor to ceiling matte painting, and it's of the airport at the
Yep.
end of Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I, got to work on Headlander with Double Fine and talk with Tim a lot. And he's just, super nice guy.
yeah.
Yeah. And of course, when Double Fine was starting up, he used to hang around the Ziff Davis offices quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I know he played board games with a lot of the other editors
Yeah.
and such at that time. So let's see. I'm going to do Neighborhood Legends for 100. My neighbor Jason and I figured out how to hook up a Sega Genesis to our VCR so we could record an entire season of this game while playing as our favorite team, the Death Skin Razors. Oh, I'm going to have to say that's got to be like Mutant League Football? Mutant League Football. Mutant League Football is
No.
correct.
Lucky this wasn't from a Canadian.
I know. I was like, it's one of the Mutant League games. Which
Yeah,
one is
really.
it? Yeah.
Oh man. I'll take well, it's not
Oh,
me,
wait,
it's
it's
Greg.
Greg.
Wow.
Greg.
Wow, that hurt. I'll take formative games for 200.
Formative games for 2. Many of us spent our Christmas breaks in 1996 getting our first real taste of what 3 dimensions were capable of, thanks to this ubiquitous N64 platformer, despite the fact that it wasn't a pack-in for the first time in Nintendo's home console history.
Mario 64.
Mario 64 is correct.
Actually, it's Super Mario 64.
Super Mario 64, you're right. Yeah.
I'll take Neighborhood Legends for 2.
Neighborhood Legends for 2.
Yeah.
Neighbor Jason and I took turns playing this impossible
Mm.
NES game, but I always played the underwater dam level because he couldn't find and disarm the bombs quickly enough.
Now that is certainly Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Correct.
Yes.
You are correct.
Ultra Games.
sir.
Oh,
Oh.
you are correct, sir.
I'm going to do video game VIPs for 2. I am deeply fascinated by and have an extensive knowledge of this legendary game maker's body of work, despite the fact that the only one of his projects that I've ever played was the playable
Mhm.
teaser he released on the PSN in 2014. I'm going to say that's Hideo Kojima. Hideo Kojima is correct.
Very good.
Yes. Right.
Let's go for formative games for 3.
Formative games for 3. To this day, my Game Boy has a series of arrows written on its face in Sharpie, so I don't have to revisit the library for directions through the final dungeon maze in my favorite game of all time, this recently remade Island Adventure.
It's Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is correct.
It's
That's
actually
awesome.
It's actually pretty clever. Just
Yeah.
Writing out the instructions or the directions on your system.
I love it.
That's hardcore.
I love it. That is
Yeah.
super hardcore. I want to
Yeah.
see a picture of that. If you've
Yeah,
got
actually,
a picture
yeah.
of that, please tweet it to us because that is fantastic. All right. It's my I'm up now.
It's Phil.
Is me?
It's Phil.
No? Me?
It's Phil.
My
Huh?
turn? No, Phil.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Should probably do a score check at some point after this.
Yeah,
too.
we're gonna
Yeah,
do
well,
a score check after.
We don't do
after-
that enough.
After me.
True.
After me,
Should
lads.
do it after all three of us go each time.
Stellar suggestions for 2.
Stellar suggestions for 2. Between having to buy a new system to play it and the childish graphics, I had no interest in this game despite it being the newest in my lifelong favorite series. But my friend Brad made me a sweetheart of a deal. If I bought the GameCube bundle and didn't enjoy the seafaring adventure, he would reimburse me by 1 hour in. I knew he would never have to.
Why, that must be The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker is correct.
Waker.
Score check. Phil, you're in the lead with
I
500
am.
points.
I am.
Greg, you're tied with me at 400. So I'm gonna go ahead and do neighborhood legends for 3.
Why are we avoiding potpourri?
Because I
so
started
much?
going to the higher scores, and you guys followed me down.
I guess so.
We are following you down.
Yeah.
You're right. With the help of Game Genie from Galoob, I turned on high jumps while playing the snake-themed stage of this classic Capcom side scroller, and made my friend Sean laugh so hard that he had an asthma attack, which led to
Jesus.
pneumonia.
Holy cow.
Though he made a full recovery, he never saw the titular blue hero the same way again.
Yeah, which one is it?
Now, which
Tough
one
guy.
is it? Is the
I'll tell you what. I certainly
know.
know.
I know.
I know.
snake-themed stage.
That's
I'm just gonna say Mega Man 2.
Yep, that's a good guess. It's
But
wrong
Mega
though.
Man
It's not the right guess, but
Not
it is
the
a
right one.
very solid guess.
Oh, Mega Man 3.
How did you not know that?
Mega Man 2 was the popular one,
Yeah, whatever.
and also
Yeah. Also,
I don't
the one that
remember
does very
Not have Snake Man.
clearly not have Snake Man.
I don't know.
Let's go for it. Formative games for 4.
Formative games for 4. I had to join a dating app after losing a bet in which I claimed I could beat this game glitchless in under 35 minutes. My total runtime came in at 35:12 due to a single unfortunate death against the Yellow Devil. 3 weeks later, I met Dawn. We're getting engaged this Christmas. Aw.
I'm gonna
Look
go
at
ahead and
that.
say Mega Man and congratulations.
Mega Man is correct.
Mega Man
There
does
you
not have a hyphen in it. I'm sorry. You're hyphenated. Mega Man is not Spider Man. Mega Man is 2 words. So
Spider Man is one word.
Spider Man is hyphenated.
I know. I'm just
How dare you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere, Seabake just twitched in pain.
mhm. That's mostly why I said it.
Let's see here. Do I dare? Formative games for 5.
To believe you can survive. I don't know. It's CJ. You might hit something you don't know.
We'll see what
It's true.
happens.
It's true. You want to do a 5?
I said what I said.
Okay.
Well, it sounded more like a question, but
It was a question. This game about a dog
Aw,
detective and his
Jesus Christ.
psychotic rabbit sidekick hunting down a Bigfoot began my lifelong love of adventure games thanks to its inclusion in the LucasArts Archives Volume 1 alongside Day of the Tentacle and Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
Pew, 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 pew.
This one,
What is Death Stranding? No. What is Sam and Max Hit the Road? Of course.
Sam and Max
Never
Hit
played
the
that.
road.
What?
I've never played it either.
score check.
Score check. Phil is in the lead with 1,000 points. Greg, you're in second place with 800, and I am tailing everyone at 100 points because of that Mega Man. Yeah.
Sam and Max Hit the Road. So good. Such a funny game.
I am going to go video game VIPs for 300. This former president of Nintendo of America is the most terrifying nice guy I've ever met. Undeniably kind, his intensity made him an imposing figure. I only shook his hand, but without a doubt, his body was ready. That's got to be Reggie Fils-Aimé. Reggie Fils-Aimé is correct.
There it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do neighborhood legends for
Oh,
4.
hi.
Whoa. When the old Intellivision started getting a little long in the tooth, my dad brought home an Action Max and this single spooky game, hoping he could get out of buying an NES. While we only played the game once, we kept the VHS for years, watching it every year while carving pumpkins.
Why the hell would I know an Action Max game?
This is your version of the Mega Man question.
Yeah, except that it's
Nobody
know
was
this.
going to know this. Everyone knows Mega Man 3.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know Mega Man.
Yeah, well.
I don't know. Clue.
The rescue,
of Pops Ghostly.
What? I've never heard of that.
Of course, it was on Action Max.
I've never heard
I
of
never had
that.
an Action Max and never played the Rescue of Pops
Who
Ghostly.
did?
Sorry to say. But I did play Clue, the VCR mystery game.
Oh, did you now?
Oh yeah, me
Yes.
too.
Oh,
I had
You
that.
did.
man.
It's
I had that.
fantastic.
Ah.
Yes.
I also
All right.
had charades with Rich Little.
Oh, really?
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember that one. There's
VCR
also
game.
some kind of football game that was on.
I have
There
that.
was some
I
kind of
actually have that
sports-
in my closet back there.
a
I found
VCR
it.
sports game. It's like, how does that even work?
I found it at a Goodwill.
Yeah.
It works
Amazing.
in that
Ugh.
it tells you to run certain plays, and then you actually fast forward or rewind to that point on the tape and watch it.
Wow.
That sounds super exciting.
Yeah, really.
Oh.
I'm going to take stellar suggestions for 3.
The
Let's
answer
hope it's
is
not about the Action
Pops
Max.
Ghostly.
It's me, Pops Ghostly.
Given to me on the 3DS as a birthday gift, this retro side scroller was a fantastic mashup of Mega Man and DuckTales, and I loved it so much I bought it again on the Switch because with
That's
plenty of
easy.
replay value and new game modes still being released, it is every bit the treasure trove the Switch collection claims it to
Yeah.
be.
What is Shovel Knight?
This game is all fill all the time from now on.
Shovel Knight
Yeah.
is correct.
Score check.
Phil is still in the lead with 1,300 points, although now Greg and I are tied at 400.
There you go.
Goddamn
Yes.
Mega Man 2.
It's anybody's game.
Man, it's anybody's game. That
Yeah.
potpourri
We still
section.
have
Yeah.
we still have the entire potpourri row left. So.
We do. Yeah, but I'm gonna go video game VIPs for 400. Despite my numerous warnings about plot holes, wooden dialogue, and insane control schemes in this designer's game, my girlfriend thought it would be a good idea to play through his most recent ham-handed crack at narrative-based storytelling when it was free on PS Plus a few months back. Within an hour and a half, she gave up and asked if he is a robot. I have to say that's David Cage.
That is absolutely David Cage.
Cage is correct.
Mm.
Ah,
Greg.
screw it. Let's do Neighborhood Legends for 5. Let's go for it.
All right. My friend Drew and I pulled an all-nighter in junior high playing this spooky FMV PC puzzler, which allowed you to wander around a 3D rendered house trying to discover the evil deeds of demented and disgraced toy maker Henry Stoff.
Man.
I
Do you
think
know,
I know
this, Phil?
I believe I do. Yes.
Pretty sure I do as well.
3D rendered house. PC puzzler allowed you to wander around a 3D rendered house trying to discover the evil deeds of a demented and disgraced toy maker, Henry Stauff. I don't know. I want to say it's either. Actually, no. Wait a minute. Let me back this up. I was thinking like Phantasmagoria or Seventh Guest, but it doesn't say anything about video. It's 3D rendered house. Oh, Alone in the Dark.
Seventh guest.
Seventh
shit.
guest is correct.
I do that at least once every time, right? I always talk myself out of the right.
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah. Alone in the Dark is not a FMV. It's
No,
polygonal.
Alone in the Dark is
It doesn't
polygonal.
say FMV.
It does say
This
FMV.
Where?
spooky
Spooky
FMV
FMV.
PC
You know what?
puzzler.
PC
I want to
puzzler.
send you a screenshot of my screen. I can't see FMV because Phil's thumbnail's covering it. So when I went and reread the question, I didn't see FMV there.
Well,
Oh, well.
Anyway,
I mean, he said FMV.
I said FMV.
yeah, sure,
he
whatever.
said it.
I did say it.
Potpourri for 100.
Here we go.
When this game was released for the Nintendo 64 in 1998, most of my friends asked me to come over to their house, not because they knew it was the first 3D installment in my favorite franchise, but because they needed help with the infamously difficult Water Dungeon.
Alone in the Dark. No, it's Zelda. Legend of
You're a
Zelda
dick.
Ocarina of Time.
Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is correct.
Hey, I can see the questions now. I moved the video.
Ah, look at that.
Yeah, see.
I think I'm going to have to go video game VIPs for 5. Historically, none of you can
CJ
remember
will.
this. Oh, God. None of you can remember this composer's name, despite his notable contributions to the video game industry, which include famous themes for games like Super Mario Brothers and The Legend of Zelda. Without a doubt, he is single-handedly responsible for starting my love of video game music. That's got to be Koji Kondo, right?
I believe so.
Koji
I would
Kondo.
never get that.
Really?
There you
No,
go.
I can never remember his name.
No? Hmm.
Koji Kondo and Hip Tanaka.
Hip Tanaka, yeah.
Stellar suggestions for 4.
When I finally got a PS3, my first non-Nintendo console since the Sega Genesis, God of War composer Bear McCreary told me that I had to prioritize this series, claiming it was like a modern Indiana Jones.
It's got to be Uncharted.
I would think, right?
Yeah.
Uncharted, yeah.
All right,
Yep.
back into the positive.
Back
Good job.
into positive territory. Phil.
Phil, I think you have a
Um,
big. There's a big question here because you played it safe last round, and
I
now
did.
CJ's
Did.
catching you.
CJ's Kitchen Up.
Since we haven't
Um,
done a score check in forever, it's 1,400 for Phil,
Yep.
1,300 for CJ, and 300 for me.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's do it. Stellar suggestions for 5.
There you go.
Okay.
It's going to be something super easy.
Well, I don't know about this. During a bit of downtime while
There you
working
go.
on a
Yeah.
horror-themed sitcom, assistant editor Josh tried to convince me to play this Disney/Final Fantasy mashup, though I wasn't sold until our conversation was overheard by rock legends Dee Snider and
Oh.
Odorous Arungus, who joined him in singing the praises of this bizarre series.
It's got to be What is Kingdom Hearts? Unless it's one of the
Kingdom
weird ass
Hearts.
You
sequels. Nope.
seriously get the
thankfully,
easiest
no.
questions.
This is a great
Ah.
story, though. Like,
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
crazy.
Have Dee Snider
Yeah.
say, hey, you should play Kingdom Hearts.
CJ's not catching you now.
Nope.
Mm.
Mainly because I have to do potpourri for. Although I get an extra question.
does
at
have
the
the
end.
extra question.
But you have a 600 point lead now. So,
Yes, that's true.
and he has
Pope.
to take a 200 point question.
I do. Potpourri for 200. I got a Super Nintendo late in the generation, so I received a bundle including Donkey Kong Country. Luckily, my mom also bought me this game, which made amazing use of Mode 7 graphics, tons of clever mechanics, and has been referred to by Phil as one of the greatest platformers ever made.
It's Rogue Legacy.
I believe that is Yoshi's Island. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island is correct.
There it is.
Yeah. All right, Greg.
Well, potpourri for 3.
As part of my duty as the guest curator at a bi-monthly Nintendo museum, I have done custom artwork featuring mashups between classic Nintendo games and movies. I gave CJ one of these posters at PSX a few years ago that combined Back to the Future with this SNES favorite chosen for its time-themed title.
I can only guess that's Chrono Trigger. Nope.
I'm sorry, it is Legend of Zelda A Link to the
Oh.
Past.
Oh boy.
Well, at least
Whoa.
I didn't end in the negative.
Uh,
This is the
neither,
game right here.
neither
This
did
is the
you
game.
land in the positive. Yeah, here we go.
This is the game.
Yeah,
400.
400 potpourri.
After hearing former Game Informer podcast and current Min Max host Ben Hansen jokingly say that nobody had beaten this impossibly lengthy Atlas game about a mystery group of phantom thieves, I took up the challenge and not only beat it, but platinumed it despite
Oh
it
boy,
being my first real RPG ever.
CJ's gonna win
Meanwhile,
this.
last time I checked, Greg is still working his way through it on Twitch.
Oh crap.
If you get it wrong, CJ doesn't win for sure.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's one of those friggin' Persona spin-off ones, whatever they are. Crap, I forget. I don't know. I could sit here all day.
Persona 5.
Persona 5.
5.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we are. So CJ and Phil
comes
are
down
tied
to it.
at
Yep, this is
1,500
it.
points.
This is
Oh,
it.
God.
Now this is the
Oh
game.
God,
Yep.
this is the game. Oh, pressure, and it's potpourri for 500.
Yep.
Wow. I don't think I'm ready.
You're
Final
gonna have
one.
to be.
This 2010 third-person cover shooter from Airtight Games was published by Capcom. Was not only the first, but one of the best scores I've ever had the pleasure to work on, and featured odd instruments like the Ondes Martinat.
Martineur.
Ondes
Martineur. That's the instrument they're playing in that fancy pharmacy you always go to now.
Live. They actually live, sitting there live playing it.
Yeah.
Oh God. And even a bouncy chiptune cover of the theme that was so fun it spawned a mobile game.
What is this?
Wow.
2010 third-person cover shooter from
Airtight
Airtight.
Games. I'm gonna say it's Dark Void.
That sounds right.
Dark Void is correct.
Oh man,
Yes.
CJ spent so long reading that question so he could sit there with his phone in the other hand and
No.
get that answer. Good
No,
job.
You're holding your hands up. You couldn't have left the phone on the desk. Like that
Dark
doesn't prove
Void.
anything.
My phone's over here.
I would
Yeah.
never have remembered that the name was Dark Void, but as soon as you said it, I knew it was right.
Yep.
Dark Void. All right.
Congratulations,
Of course,
CJ.
I wasn't on Google either. So
There it is.
Yes.
There it is.
I am the winner with
Yep.
2,000 points.
Yep.
Phil, you were in second place with 1,500, and
I
Greg,
am.
you ended up with a goose egg 0.
There it is.
Yeah.
yep.
Yes.
It's a good.
There
That was a
it
good,
is indeed.
good game though.
That was a really good game. Thank you
Nice job.
again, Hackeralius BNG, for sending us this amazing Jeopardy, and congratulations on your engagement.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's excellent news. And if any of our other listeners have an idea for an after show game that we can play, you can email that to playeronepodcast@gmail.com, just like BNG did. And thank you, patrons, for supporting the show. Hopefully you enjoyed this this after show content, and we will catch everybody on the flippity flop.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.